The flash comes first, not sound, not heat, light. A light so white it burns through closed eyelids. It is 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in August. The sky over Topeka, Kansas splits open like a wound. The fireball climbs. It does not rise. It devours. The mushroom cloud punches through the troposphere in 11 seconds. By the time the shockwave hits, the war is already global. Moscow, Beijing, Washington, London. The missiles do not negotiate. They execute. In the span of 90 minutes, 1,700 warheads detonate across 23 countries. The old world does not collapse. It vaporizes. The new one begins in ash. Day 1. The survivors do not yet know they are survivors. They are still processing the flash, the sound, the way the windows shattered inward like ice. In suburban Denver, a woman stands in her kitchen holding a coffee mug. The mug is still warm. The radio is static. The cell towers are dead. She does not know that the electromagnetic pulse from the Nevada detonation has fried every circuit within 600 miles. She does not know that her husband, driving to work on I-25, is now sitting in a car that will never start again. She knows only silence, the kind that presses against the skull. Outside, the sky is orange, not sunset orange, chemical orange. The sun is a dull coin behind a veil of smoke. The confusion is universal. In Manhattan, people stand on rooftops staring at the horizon. The skyline of New York is intact, but to the west, there is a column of black rising from Philadelphia. No one knows if it is 1 bomb or 10. No one knows if more are coming. The internet is gone. The phones are gone. The only information comes from radios, and even those are patchy. A crackling voice on AM says the president is safe. It does not say where. It does not say what comes next. The voice repeats the same sentence every 4 minutes. Remain indoors. Await further instruction. There is no further instruction. There is only waiting. By hour 6, the looting begins. Not because people are evil, because people are animals. The grocery stores in Atlanta empty in 40 minutes. The shelves are stripped, not just food, batteries, water, diapers, anything portable. The registers do not work. The staff has abandoned their posts. There is no law because there are no police. The police are at home, guarding their own families. In the parking lot, a man is beaten unconscious for a case of bottled water. No one intervenes. Intervention is a luxury. Survival is arithmetic. The strong take, the weak scatter. The smart were already gone. Day 3. The fires have spread, not from bombs, from collapsed infrastructure. Gas lines rupture, electrical substations explode. In Los Angeles, entire blocks burn because there is no water pressure to fight them. The firefighters tried. They ran out of fuel. The trucks sit idle on Sunset Boulevard, doors open, hoses coiled like dead snakes. The smoke from the city rises and joins the smoke from the warheads. It merges into a single black mass that begins to drift east. The jet stream carries it. Within a week, it will circle the planet. Within a month, it will block out the sun. The temperature drops, not immediately, not catastrophically, but steadily. By day 10, Kansas registers 72 degrees Fahrenheit at noon. 2 weeks ago, it was 98. The farmers notice first. The corn is wilting, not from drought, from cold. The growth cycle is stalling. The wheat in the Dakotas begins to yellow prematurely. The soybeans in Iowa stop flowering. No one is thinking about harvest yet. They are thinking about tomorrow. But tomorrow is when the famine begins. It begins in silence. It begins in the soil. Week 4. The soot layer is complete. 150 million tons of black carbon suspended in the stratosphere. It does not rain out. It does not dissipate. It hangs there, a shroud, absorbing sunlight before it can reach the surface. The global temperature drops by 4 degrees Celsius. In some regions, it drops by 8. The models predicted this. The military strategists knew. But knowing and experiencing are different animals. In Nebraska, the August temperature reads 51 degrees. At night, it dips to 38. Frost forms on the grass. In August. The growing season is over. The harvest will not come. The stored grain will have to last. It will not last. The cities are hemorrhaging people, not in waves, in trickles. Those who have cars and gasoline leave. They drive toward rural areas, toward family, toward some imagined safety that does not exist. The highways are clogged with abandoned vehicles. The fuel ran out, the engines seized, the occupants walked. Some made it, most did not. The rural towns do not welcome refugees. They cannot. There is not enough food, not enough water. The wells are contaminated. The fallout has settled. It is invisible. It is everywhere. In the rain, in the dust, in the lungs of anyone who breathed too deeply in the first 72 hours. Month 2. The governments that still function operate from bunkers. NORAD, Cheyenne Mountain, Raven Rock. The president addresses the nation from an undisclosed location. The broadcast is radio only. He speaks for 4 minutes. He says the worst is over. He is lying. The worst has not begun. He announces martial law. He announces rationing. He announces that FEMA will distribute supplies to designated zones. The zones are not disclosed. The supplies do not arrive. FEMA is a skeleton. Half its personnel are dead. The other half are trying to save their own families. The infrastructure for mass relief does not exist. It burned with the cities. The survivors are learning new mathematics, caloric mathematics. A human body requires 2,000 calories per day to maintain function. Under stress, that number increases. In the cold, it increases further. The average American household has 7 days of food. That food is gone. The stores are empty. The warehouses are locked or looted. The supply chain is a memory. The trucks do not run. The trains do not run. The ships do not dock. In the Midwest, people are eating pets. In the South, they are eating seed corn. Seed corn is not meant to be eaten. It is meant to be planted. But there will be no planting. The ground is frozen. The water situation is becoming critical. The municipal systems failed in week 2. The pumps require electricity. The electricity requires fuel. The fuel requires transportation. The transportation requires roads and drivers and a functioning economy. None of these exist. People are drinking from rivers, from lakes, from puddles. The water carries fallout. It carries radiation. It carries disease. The Geiger counters, for those who have them, click constantly. The safe threshold is 0.1 microsieverts per hour. The rivers are reading 50. People drink anyway. Thirst is more immediate than cancer. Dehydration kills in days. Radiation kills in months. The choice is not a choice. Month 3. The silence is total. Not the silence of peace. The silence of famine. The looters have stopped because there is nothing left to loot. The roads are empty because there is no destination. The cities are tombs. In Chicago, the population has dropped from 2.7 million to 400,000. The rest are dead or fled. The bodies are not buried. There is no fuel for cremation. They are stacked in warehouses, in parks. The frozen ground cannot be dug. The smell is mitigated only by the cold that will not break. The cold that has become the new climate. In Kansas, it is noon. The sky is the color of old bruises. Dark gray shot through with streaks of brown. The sun is a rumor. The temperature is 14 degrees Fahrenheit. In July, it was 90. Now, in late autumn, it is below freezing at midday. The wheat fields are graveyards. The corn is black stalks jutting from ice-crusted soil. The soybeans rotted where they stood. The livestock are dead. The cattle froze in the pastures. The chickens stopped laying and then stopped breathing. The pigs were slaughtered early, their meat smoked and stored by those who had the foresight. That meat is running out. The survivors are not the strong. They are the prepared. The ones who read the signs. The ones who moved early. The ones who had bunkers, seed vaults, water filtration, and guns. Lots of guns. In Montana, a family of 6 lives in a reinforced basement. They have 3 years of freeze-dried food. They have a well that goes deep enough to avoid surface contamination. They have a Geiger counter. They venture out once a week, faces wrapped, eyes covered. They scavenge what they can from abandoned homes. They trust no one. Trust is a currency no one can afford. They have killed 3 people who tried to take what was theirs. They do not talk about it. They do not need to. 4,000 miles away, in a bunker beneath the southern Alps of New Zealand, a billionaire checks a hydroponic readout. The lettuce is growing. The tomatoes are ripening under LED grow lights. The air is scrubbed by HEPA filters. The water is recycled through reverse osmosis. He eats a meal of protein paste, vitamin-enriched, calorie-optimized. He is alive. His family is alive. His security team is alive. They are 40 people in a facility built for 100. They have supplies for 15 years. They have entertainment. They have contact with 2 other bunkers via encrypted satellite uplink. They do not have sunlight. They do not have wind. They do not have the smell of rain. They are living, but they are not alive. Above ground, the ozone layer is shredding. The nuclear fireballs pumped nitrogen oxides into the stratosphere. The chemical reaction is slow but irreversible. By year 2, the ozone over the northern hemisphere will be 30% depleted. When the smoke finally clears, the sun will return. But it will not bring warmth. It will bring ultraviolet radiation at levels the Earth has not seen in millions of years. Skin cancer will become universal. Cataracts will blind those who look up. The crops that attempt to grow will be scorched. The planet is not healing. It is metabolizing the poison. Month 6. The cold deepens. The global average temperature is now 9 degrees Celsius below pre-war levels. In Siberia, it is -40. In Canada, entire towns are buried in snow. In the American Midwest, the wind howl is constant. It is a wind that carries nothing but ice and ash. The animals that survived the initial blasts are dying now. Deer, coyotes, birds. The birds are gone. The skies are silent. The migratory patterns broke. The food chains collapsed. The scavengers have nothing to scavenge. The predators have nothing to hunt. The ecosystem is in freefall. The human population is unknowable. The census is dead. The satellites are degraded. The estimates are grim. Pre-war global population, 8 billion. First strike casualties, 2 billion. Fallout and radiation, 1 billion. Starvation and cold in the first 6 months, another 2 billion. 5 billion dead. 3 billion remain. But they are not distributed evenly. The southern hemisphere fares better. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Argentina. The smoke is thinner there. The cold is less severe. But they are cut off. No trade. No communication. They are islands in a dying sea. In the northern hemisphere, the coastal cities are frozen harbors. The ships that remain are locked in ice. The ports are abandoned. In Seattle, the docks are covered in 3 feet of snow. The fishing boats sit tilted, their hulls cracked by ice expansion. There are no fish anyway. The ocean surface temperature has dropped. The plankton die-off is complete. The base of the marine food web is gone. The whales beach themselves. The seals vanish. The gulls that once screamed over the piers are silent. They starved weeks ago. Month 9. The diseases begin. Cholera, typhus, dysentery. The sanitation systems are gone. The water is contaminated. The immune systems are weakened by malnutrition. In the refugee camps that have formed around military installations, the sick are isolated. Isolated means abandoned. There are no antibiotics. The pharmacies were looted in week 1. The hospitals are dark. The doctors are dead or fled. A cough becomes pneumonia. Pneumonia becomes death. The death rate in the camps is 4% per week. The math is simple. In 6 months, the camps will be empty. The psychological toll is immeasurable. The suicides are epidemic, not from despair, from rationality. People do the math. They see the food running out. They see the cold not breaking. They see no future. They choose the exit. In some communities, it is organized. Suicide pacts. Families lying down together in sealed garages with running generators. In others, it is solitary. A walk into the snow. A razor in the bath. The ones who remain are the ones who can still find a reason. A child. a belief, a stubborn refusal to let the universe win. The children are the ghosts of the new world. Those who survive are thin, silent. They do not play. They do not laugh. They have learned that noise attracts attention. Attention attracts danger. They watch the adults with old eyes. They understand that childhood is over. In a camp in Missouri, a girl of 8 tends a fire. She knows how to make char cloth. She knows how to purify water with bleach. She knows how to field dress a squirrel. She does not remember her birthday. She does not remember her last name. She remembers only survival. Month 12. The first year ends not with a bang, but with a whimper. The sky is still dark. The cold is still absolute. The food is still gone. In the bunkers, the wealthy are safe. In the rural compounds, the prepared are surviving. Everywhere else, humanity is a shadow. The population has fallen to 2 billion. Most are in the southern hemisphere. The north is a necropolis. The cities are frozen ruins. The forests are dead. The rivers are poisonous. The soil is sterile. But there are pockets, small communities that have endured. A village in Vermont that pooled resources and hunted through the winter. A monastery in the Himalayas that had grain stores and discipline. A network of survivalists in the Rockies who traded and defended and adapted. They are not thriving. They are enduring. They eat lichen scraped from rocks. They burn furniture for warmth. They ration water by the ounce. They live because they are willing to do what others would not. They are the future. The bitter, starving, frozen future. The billionaire in New Zealand ventures to the surface for the first time in a year. He wears a hazmat suit. The Geiger counter clicks but does not scream. The radiation has decayed to manageable levels. The air is breathable, but the world is unrecognizable. The trees are skeletal. The grass is ash-gray. The sky is still dim, a perpetual twilight. He looks up and sees the sun. It is pale. It is weak. It is filtered through a haze that will take 5 more years to dissipate. He stands there for 10 minutes. Then he goes back underground. There is nothing to return to. Not yet. Maybe not ever. The survivors are learning a new truth. Survival is not a moment. It is not a bunker or a stockpile. It is a mentality. It is the willingness to eat what you would not eat, to do what you would not do, to become what you were not. The people who survive the first year are not the strongest. They are the most adaptable. They are the ones who let go of the old world fastest. The ones who did not mourn the loss of Netflix and coffee shops and air conditioning. The ones who calculated. The ones who became cold because the world became cold. The geopolitical map is redrawn in blood and ash. The United Nations is a memory. The European Union fractured in month 4. France and Germany turned inward. Britain is an ice-locked island. Russia is a frozen wasteland. China's government operates from deep mountain bunkers, controlling what remains of its population through military force. The Middle East is silent. The oil fields burn. No one puts them out. There is no one left to care. The global economy is not in recession. It is extinct. In the southern hemisphere, new power structures emerge. Australia closes its borders with lethal force. The military shoots boats approaching the coast. There is no refugee policy. There is only survival. New Zealand's bunker communities become city-states. They trade with each other. They raid each other. The government is a fiction. Power belongs to those with weapons and food. Argentina fragments into warlord territories. Cape Town becomes a fortress. The survivors do not think globally, they think locally. The block, the street, the house. That is the world now. And the world is cold. It will stay cold. Year 2 will be worse. The crops will attempt to grow and fail. The UV radiation will spike. The remaining governments will fracture further. The warlords will rise. The tribes will form. Humanity will not go extinct, but it will be unrecognizable. The civilization that built skyscrapers and satellites and symphonies is gone. What remains is something older, something harder, something that remembers how to survive when the lights go out and the sky turns black and the earth itself becomes the enemy. The first year is over. The long dark has just begun. And in that darkness, only the ruthless, the prepared, and the fortunate will see year 2.